Hear your favorite NFL legends sharing their stories and insights every week right here on Thursday Night Tailgate with Chris Mascaro and Bob Lazari. Take it away, guys.
There's no way out.
All right, now joining us here on Thursday Night Tailgate is Larry Stevens. Let me give you some background on Larry. He's from Tacoma, Washington. He was a two-sport star in high school playing football and basketball. He was considered the top football prospect in the state of Washington in 2000. Played his college ball at the University of Michigan from 2000 to 2003, and he helped them to back-to-back 10-3 seasons his last 2 seasons there. He was an undrafted free agent signed by the Cincinnati Bengals in 2004, and he played in the league with the Bengals for 2 years before an injury cut his NFL career short. But we're very excited he is back with us again tonight here on Thursday Night Tailgate. Hey, Larry, Chris, and Bob here. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hi, Larry. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing?
Oh, fantastic.
It's a pleasure to be on. And I was listening to Greg talk previously before I got on the phone. And, you know, there was guys like that were vicious, like the way they walked, the way they talked. Like, you knew, like, who meant business, right? Like, I didn't play against him, but we studied on guys like that film. And I seen him one time after maybe like 2004, 2005. I seen him and like Kevin Green. He was helping out David Pollock. And these guys were freaking ripped, dude. Like, these guys look like they can still play. And these guys were just phenomenal athletes, and they still look that way now.
Well, Larry, I want to start off our time with you tonight by kind of going back to early years for you. And I read that even as a kid, you were a Michigan fan. So I was curious, how does a kid from Tacoma, Washington, grow up a Michigan fan and then get the opportunity to actually go play there?
You know, it was incredible. My whole family is actually from Ohio, and so I have a lot of Buckeye family, and they disowned me when I went to Michigan. But also, so did the state of Washington. You know, I'm not sure if you heard. You know, I was the number 1 player since probably my sophomore year. We had like 80 scholarship offers for football, about 35 for basketball, and there was a lot of pressure to keep me home in my home state. But I was scared to leave. I didn't understand what I was doing. I just knew that I had to do it. It was something that was inside that was like, you need to take this opportunity. I had no idea where it was going to take me. I didn't know anyone there. And, you know, it's probably one of the best decisions that I made.
And Larry, you know, you go from a high school, and I don't know how big your high school stadium was, but all of a sudden you go from playing in front of probably a couple of thousand people to Michigan in the big house playing in front of 109,000 fans. What was it like the first couple of times you started walking out into the big house, into that sort of arena?
I think people get it twisted. They don't really, because there's like you said it best, like a lot of these stadiums have like 60,000, even now college football, 60, 70,000. But it's a different view when you're coming out of the tunnel. Let me just tell you, the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, I still have butterflies, and you feel like you could just sprain your ankle just by just walking. And you can see every single face in the whole entire stadium. You can see everyone. That's us. This is our home stadium. Can you imagine when an opponent comes in, like a Miami, Ohio, or somebody like that comes in, and it's like a complete advantage before it starts. And I've never seen anything like that before. You know, I've been to some good stadiums like Washington and Oregon. Those stadiums are louder, but it's based on how they're set up. But when you're at Michigan Stadium, you know you're at Michigan Stadium.
And Larry, we've had a few guys on the show from the Michigan side and the Ohio State side, and got some of their thoughts on the rivalry. But what's it like? What's Ohio State week like on campus and around, around practice and around the team?
Well, it'll behoove me not to say that Ohio State week doesn't just start the last week of the season. You know, you're working for that beginning of the season, spring training. You always got your play set up for them. But I hate those guys, like every last one of them. And it's like on the field, like it's serious. Like, you know, it's a game, we're playing this, but those guys, there's nothing like getting ready to play those guys and really imposing your will on those guys. And we were fortunate to go 2-2. We won 2 games, 2 big games. But the times they beat us, you know, they were some good teams, Maurice Claret. And so this is when we were winning. You know, you didn't know if Ohio State was going to come in and was going to win. We were expecting to win. We were expecting to put those guys out of the game. And we most definitely meant business. And, to be honest with you, I think a lot of it's different player mentalities as well. And, don't talk about that. Like, whatever. Like, when we came in, like, we had, some assholes, some people who had attitude, not all the way questionable characters, but guys that were hungry and wanted to fight. We went to the east side of Detroit. We went to New York. We went to New Jersey. We grabbed the best players out of Ohio. And we had those kind of guys, and we came in and we went after it. Like it was nothing that was left. Then I feel like we're getting a bunch of smart guys, like 3.8, good. They're talented, they're good, but they're not those, I can't explain it. They don't have, and that bothers me. But, the rivalry isn't the rivalry right now because we're losing. And that's the worst thing ever is losing to Ohio State. Michigan State, you're losing your rivalry games. Notre Dame, you can't lose those games. But the Ohio State, it doesn't just take the week. I'm looking at those guys, and I know they're coming for me. I know exactly what plays they're going to run. I know I'm waiting for it, and I look forward to it. And that's one of the things that I miss. And I miss really trying to put it on one of those guys.
5 questions for Larry.
Larry, we talked to a lot of guys that were multi-sport athletes, star athletes in various sports. Toy Cook earlier in the show was one of them. You did it in basketball and football, and it's a different era now, Larry. It's almost as if they want robots sometimes, and they kind of stifle people's participation in multi-sports. I'm sure you would probably be one of those ones that would advocate different sports that help make you a better football player.
Absolutely. And to be honest with you, I was probably better in basketball, and I love basketball more, but I just happen to dominate in football. But what I tell a lot of these kids that are coming up now, it's about, there's different things that the game teaches you, but outside of that, it's your opportunity. You can get different opportunities. We're talking outside of academic scholarships, obviously, or that, but you're opening the doors for more people to see you, more places to show your talent. Like there's stuff on the basketball court that correlates over to the football field. How many times have we seen guys who play college basketball who end up in the NFL and can't catch worth a lick, but they have that P, which is the potential. And so I think that people should always expand their opportunities. Like, look, I had at least 15 schools that I could have played basketball and football with. It was just the fact that Michigan was one of those schools that was like, nope.
And Larry, I was looking at some of the early Bengals teams there. 2004, you come into the league as a defensive player, and Marvin Lewis and Leslie Frazier, those are big names in NFL defenses. And those were part of your coaching staff. But take me back. Was it a big transition? Were these guys what you would call defensive gurus?
Now, listen, you guys talk to a lot of different Hall of Famers, a lot of guys who played, who started for years, 8 to 10 years, and you hear their stories, and it's fascinating. But let me share something with you. The real players who really go through the struggle and can really tell you what it is the players that are 46 to 53 on the roster. The players that are numbered 46 to 53, which means the guys that are inactive, standing up on the side, maybe practice squad, those are the guys who go through the most vulnerable, the toughest route. They're on the eggshells. They can't do anything wrong, any mistakes at any point in time. And there's things that can affect you from 46 to 53 that doesn't affect everyone else. For example, let's say I'm the number 4 linebacker or number 5 linebacker, and we usually roll with 6 linebackers or so. But there's an injury on the other side of the ball, a tight end. A tight end goes down. A guy at my position, no matter what position that I play, I know that I'm 46 to 53. I am freaking shook now because that's where they make the subtractions from the roster. It could not even been my position than somewhere else that affects my job. And so anything that happens throughout the course of the season, through practice, through anything, it's a whole totally different experience. And this is kind of similar for, being undrafted free agent coming to the league, because at this point, you're already counted out. Yes, we know we can get a couple guys that can do their job. They could do 2 to 3 years, league minimum, cut them so they don't got to pay their benefits. You know how that works. But you can always get guys for low. as an undrafted free agent at Cincinnati, where I was at, we had a lot of great linebackers. Well, not great linebackers, but guys that can do the job for Cincinnati that need to be done. Like, they had like Nate Webster, Khalid Abdullah, Frank Chamberlain, Brian Simmons, and Kevin Hardy, and some of these guys. And in training camp in Georgetown, I'm in my dorm, and my freaking dorm gets cleared out 3 times. And I'm expecting to get cut, right? I'm scared every night. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to see you guys in the morning because they'll come sneak out at night and wake you up in the middle of the night and nobody will ever see you again. So these are the type of things that as a player, as a walk-on, a free agent, like it's a whole nother concern, whole nother worry, whole nother ball game.
Larry, just a couple more before we let you go. You had an opportunity at Michigan to play. I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm a big Steeler fan. You had an opportunity to play with Lamar Woodley, Larry Foote. Wanted to get your memories of Woodley and Foote.
Oh, man. Woodley came in after me, and Foote was there on my recruiting visit. Foote was one of the reasons why I came to Michigan on my visit. And I love Foote and Woodley. And the reasons why is those guys are so genuine. Regardless what the situation is, you know where they're going to stand. But their passion for the game, like I watched Lamar Woodley come in as a defensive end, and he didn't have any technique, which he wouldn't know how to use it when he got to college, right? So he didn't have it, and he still, with his talent, it didn't even matter. Like I've never seen your technique don't matter. Like I've never seen that before, right? And so, like I have the utmost respect for those guys because those are the guys that came every single day, and I'm not just talking like political, like these guys came every single day and you knew where they stand, and I respect that.
And Larry, we've talked to a lot of different guys about, their careers and then how it suddenly ends and then trying to deal with life after football. You had the unfortunate situation where, an injury comes out of nowhere, ends your career, so now you're suddenly having to figure out what to do next. What was it like trying to prepare for life after football?
Man, I've written several articles, Forbes, several different things about this transition, and it's something that I was not prepared for, and I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea how any of my skills athletically transferred off the field, and it happens a lot. Even people in their professions now, like police officers, they may not know how their skills transfer over, right? But it was really, when you're taught to think of athletics and sports, you really don't know. You really haven't been planning on. You've been planning your whole life on plateau of where you're at. So for me, I struggled for a while. I tried a few different things. I did some work with Merrill Lynch. I went and worked for a few companies. Great in sales. I love sales, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And the fact of the matter was, I have like different fundamental beliefs. I believe that I don't have to depend on someone giving me my value or telling me how much I'm worth, or me exchanging how much time I'm going to work for someone or this and that. Like I wanted to go out and create my own thing, my own storyline. And that's what we're doing now. Throughout this last 8 to 10 years, we've been helping military veterans, professional athletes. We've been helping them into job creation situations, funding their companies, helping them strategically transfer out of their field into the private sector. We've been doing that for the last 5 or 6 years. Right now, we're doing international work around the world. We're in about 75 countries where we're building infrastructure, food. So it's about serving and giving back. But my main responsibility right now is I'm in private equity now. And football was short. It's very short. And if you're planning on making your life off of your football career, unless you was a guy who got 8 or 10 years, then you have to figure out a way to position yourself to your next steps. And that's by, getting around the right people that you want to go, and being focused and having the right team around you.
Larry, before we let you go, let our listeners know, how can they stay up to date with the great things that you're doing now, whether it's online or it's on social media?
Nice. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Most definitely, you can catch me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there, which I'm always looking to assist and help people, whether we're ideas of starting a company or funding a company or project funding, anything like that. I'm pretty active on Twitter as well. You can find me at I don't even know my Twitter handle. Jesus Christ, right? I was like, where is it? And I'm on Instagram as well. I don't really be on Facebook, but you can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter. Thanks, guys.
Sure.
Absolutely, Larry. Thanks for taking time out of your night to come and be a part of the show. We appreciate you, and hopefully we get the opportunity to catch up with you again real soon.
Oh, this is awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Larry.
Take care, Larry. That is Larry Stevens, and had such a great career at Michigan. Bob helped them do a couple of 10-win seasons and a Rose Bowl appearance. And listening to him, I love the enthusiasm in his voice. Look forward to getting him back.
Yeah, it looks like he's giving back too, Chris. A guy that couldn't put too many years in the league, and helping guys that underwent similar circumstances.